Hi everyone. Today is it's Wednesday for me right now, and I would do a update on KeeKee, who you can hear. If it gets too loud, I'll move to somewhere else. um, so first thing was let's see. The Folsom Prison Blues video went very well. I didn't think I would shoot it all at one day, but I got it all done. So the cigar was not as not how I wanted it to be, because I hadn't got it done yet, and all of a sudden that's the only part I had left, and I had a very short period of time until people would come back home, and so that's why it looked like what it did, but it worked. It worked, I guess. But a question was asked about the prison bars. Like, how did you do that? And I said, well, I'll explain on during Wednesday's video. That way I don't have to type it, several times. So when you buy a bird cage, especially these types, these sizes, but they all come with them. They come with a grate on the bottom of the cage. The idea is to separate the bird from the birdoo on the bottom. That's the idea. I hate them. Because they're just something else to clean. Because birdoo happens, and then it sticks to the bars, and then I have something else I have to clean other than everything else. Plus, sometimes the birds actually enjoy, like Milo here. He loves to burrow underneath the paper towels. That's fun for him. And so if I had cage bars, or if I had that bottom grate, he wouldn't be able to do that. So, why deprive him of fun? So when I buy a bird cage, and it's been a while since I've had to do that, probably, it's been, I don't know, it's been a few years, right? Yeah. But when I buy a bird cage, as soon as I bring it home, first thing I do is I take out that bottom grate. Don't need it, don't want it. So therefore, we have these bottom grates sitting around, which actually we use as partitions to block animals from getting places where we don't want them to be. So, for example, we have this entertainment center. I'm going to turn you. You've seen it before. That. Okay, that didn't go smoothly. Okay. Well, back behind it, where all the cords are, we have where all the cords plug in at. It's not a power strip, but it's more of a flat box like this, and it's about like this big, and it gets warm. It gets really warm, and I used to have a dove who, in fact, I think it was the dove it's the dove Pee-wee, who lived in this cage before Lemon. And, well, she liked to go back there and roost on that power box, on that power strip box, because it was warm. And we really didn't want her back there, because it was, dusty and cobwebby, and we don't know if she'd get curious and get into something else or whatever. So we really didn't want her back there. So we used one of those bottom grates as a kind of a wall, and we have a couple others using it for the same reason, for the dogs or whatever. So when I was working on that video, and I thought, you know, prison bars would be awesome. The original plan was to do it out in the basement so that the backdrop was the concrete blocks, because that would be, obviously that would be true prison walls. But I have trouble with stairs, and so trying to go down there with 2 tablets and what I need to hold up the small tablet so I could read off it, and at that point I hadn't figured out how I was going to stand up the prison bars. And so finally I decided on by the basement door out door to the garage. And so I finally decided on that, and then filmed in sepia, and that worked out. So we got it all. So when I set it all up, I had the big tablet like I have right now. And then next to it was the small tablet. And I have one of those triangular pillow things that it's used to hold up your tablet if you're, like, I don't know, sitting in or lying in bed. In fact, it's sitting. So this thing. So that thing. I was just working on Sunday's video, but I can't film it today because of the light coming through the window, and while I was rehearsing it, it was creating like a kind of a strobe effect, and so I thought that would be annoying. So I'm hoping tomorrow the light situation will be different, and plus if I do it earlier in the day, if I have to do it in a different room, well then I have to do it in a different room. So anyway, so what I did was, so I had the small tablet. I had that tablet on that thing next to this one, and then I also had this also on it, and I held it just like that, maybe a little bit more, like that, and we have prison bars. So, yep. So I had to make sure these were going and that you could not see this part, and that part is dirty. so that's what I figured out. Okay, so that. But the basic part of this video is update on KeeKee, who you've been listening to. Things are actually going really well. He has his noisy moments, and I just keep letting him know that's, you know, can we quiet it down a little bit, something we're all familiar with. I'm sure he's not as loud as Max is, but all right. So he's in this cage most of the day, because I have not yet opened up the top to see what happens if he's allowed out with RC. I was hoping to do that this week. Actually, I was hoping to do it last week, but it didn't happen. Oh, there's RC. And then he gets, what? Don't get shy now. Eating something. I got lettuce and pancakes sitting on that clip, so, and sweet potato. And so I was going to do it last week, and I got busy And this week has been, I've had three days in a row of phone call appointments. And then tomorrow I actually get to visit a friend from church for the first time. So things are starting to open up around here. So we're gonna go to a city park and talk, and so that's awesome. I'm excited about that. And then Friday, I have plans in town as well. So maybe next week, I can open up the top and see what happens. But otherwise, he sits in that cage during the day because I don't want to get him used to a schedule, and then I go back to work, and then that schedule suddenly changes, and then he gets upset and screams all day or something like that, because that would not be pleasant for anybody. So, and then so he's in there. Normally he has days where he doesn't say a thing all day long, and then there are other days like right now and even yesterday, and I don't know, and I still haven't figured out if there's a reason to things or it's just what he does. And then after dinner, I go sit down on the couch, and then about 7, 8 o'clock at night, then I take him out, and for shoulder time, I also open up the top of the cage, and then that way Milo and RC can go in there and do the things that they normally do. They like to play in there and eat and just even though Milo has his cage, he'll go from his cage to this cage, so he's kind of a strange bird. And RC, who does not have a cage, maybe he just likes to be in a cage, I don't know. So and then when I go to bed, then everybody returns to where they're supposed to be. And so I go back to the couch with KeeKee for shoulder time, but he has figured out that the top of the couch is a very fun place. So he will climb up, and then he'll sit like kind of like he goes back and forth from here to here and back, and usually he's like right behind me. And I think he's reading my tablet over my shoulder as I'm doing stuff, playing bingo, playing games, catching up on replies and emails and stuff. So, because every once in a while I'll look at something, I'll be watching something, and he'll obviously react to it. So, and then I have not clipped his wings because his flying around has really has calmed down to a minimum. And it was really cool because one day I can't remember what day it was, Saturday or Sunday. I was in the kitchen to get something to drink, and he was on my shoulder, and I went to get something, and all of a sudden he took off. He jumped off my shoulder, and he flew towards the doors, and I'm just watching him. He turned around, and I still had the towel wrapped around my arm, and cause I had just gotten him from the cage, and he circled around by the door, came back. I held onto my arm. I felt like a falconer, and he came and landed right back in my arm, and that was cool. So he's learning how to fly and land nearby, kind of even hovering a little bit. He likes to, if he does take off, he'll just fly over and land. Here, I'll turn you around. He'll go from there to there. That's it. And then I just jump up and wrap the towel around my arm and call him back. And there's somebody else standing there, like Jen or my niece, and then they just use their sleeves to bring him back to me. So he has been showing off his verbal talents, what he knows, like that. But we have heard him, and some of this I've already said. We've heard him bark 2 different ways. We've heard him meow. We've heard there's various jungle noises like that. When I've heard him say hi and hello, and he usually does that. He doesn't do this all the time. He'll do this like occasionally, like, you know, someone will answer the phone, like my mom, or yesterday it was me, and as we're like picking the phone up from the cradle, he'll go. I've heard him say hello. In a lower voice, like probably the voice of his previous owner. So, yeah. And, but he was with me one day, and he was with me. Mom answered the phone, and I heard him say, you know, hi. So, there was a couple of nights in a row where I put him to bed, and then I'm getting my stuff all ready and everything, and then I come back out to get KeeKee so we can go to bed, and I'm saying goodnight to everybody, and I get to him, and I say goodnight, KeeKee, and he went, good morning, and I was like, no, it's not good morning, it's good night. So, obviously his previous owner would tell him good morning every morning, which was really nice. He was well taken care of, and loved. So that's good. And I've heard him say, pretty bird, but it was quite an effort for him. It was like, pretty bird. But I only heard that once or twice. I haven't heard them since. But I keep saying it. Hopefully he'll say it again. And I think that's all I'm remembering right now. What I forgot to tell you about my little story of how I got him at the parrot rescue place. I forgot about one of my favorite parts of the story. So, as I was walking around looking at everything else, I would walk away from Joy to give her a chance to, you know, figure out if she would like me or not. And so I'd go look at something else, and all of a sudden I'd hear this. This happened a few times. I heard, hello. Like that. And I'd look around and like, who did that? And it wasn't obvious. They were all just kind of sitting there looking at me. And it's like, could have been any of them. I'm like, and so then I went back to talk to Joy, and then I'd leave again to look at something else, and then I hear it again. Hello? And this happened like 3 or 4 times. And finally I asked the person who I was talking to, and she pointed to one of the female eclectuses. She goes, "That's the one who does that." So, that I thought that was really cute. So back to KeeKee. So when I got him, they gave me a empty peanut butter jar with food. With his food, and then in the contract that I signed, it said what his food was, and so I've been using that. It got, it was almost empty, and I thought, well, I better order some, So what does he eat? So push this back a little bit. So part Supreme, not a sponsor. So this, and I've actually seen him eat these. I've seen him take one, hold it in his beak, and then climb up to where he likes to sit on that rainbow ladder. Sit still in his beak, and then he'll sit there and hold it in his foot. So I think that's that'd be like us trying to climb a mountain holding onto a cell phone or something. That's just I find that amazing. So there's that, and then a little bit of cockatiel food for the smaller seeds, and then oh yeah, we've heard him laugh a little bit, and this morning my father blew his nose, and he made a sound that's very similar to that too. So like I said, he keeps surprising us with the different sounds that he either knows he already can make, or he's just coming up with stuff as he hears it. So I went online and I went down to Chewy, also not a sponsor, and for me, shopping for bird food, especially cockatiel food, is very difficult because a lot of bird food companies put raisins in their food. I can't have raisins because they probably won't eat them, and so therefore they're going to throw them out of the food dish, Milo and RC, and those raisins could end up on the floor. And since grapes and raisins can kill dogs, I obviously cannot have that at all. And so when I So when I shop for cockatiel food, I have to read the ingredient list until I find one that does not have raisins in it. So I had to do the same thing with him, and I found this, also not a sponsor. It had so also I'm looking at like bag sizes, 4 pounds, 4 or 5 pounds usually fits in the containers that I have. And then there was one that was like, didn't have raisins until I saw that it was a 2-pound bag, but it was about the same price as a 4-pound bag. No. And then I saw this kind and no raisins in it. And then I was going to order the 4-pound bag, and then I saw that another option was a 3.7-pound jug, is what it said. And I'm like, oh, I don't have an extra container. So I clicked on it, and this was the picture, and I'm like, that's what I need. So it's got all kinds of good stuff in it. And so this morning I had to mix up a new batch in the peanut butter jar, and so also not a sponsor. And so yeah. So that's our life with KeeKee. Like I said, some days he doesn't say a word all day long. Other days, yeah, you. And other days, he's like this, and so I'm kind of between, do I talk to him, pay attention to him, and then he learns that if he screams, I pay attention to him, so therefore he will then scream more, or do I ignore him, and then he gets upset because I'm ignoring him, and if I just talk to him a little, he'll quiet down a little. So I kind of have to go back and forth on that, and carefully, so that I don't create a bigger monster. So otherwise, gotta keep giving RC the same amount of love and attention that he's used to, if not more so. So he doesn't feel jealous or neglected. And of course the others really don't care. You know, Neil does to a point. So, other than that, everybody else is doing fine. I've got all the finches are good. Nobody's a baby anymore. Just, you know, we got adults and juveniles. And they spend their day swinging on swings and chirping and singing, and so now I gotta get in there, and especially that coconut, clean out the coconut before they decide to make another one. That's not. I like babies and all, but it's like in about a year I might have a problem on my hands with too many birds related to each other. So, it's almost 30 minutes, so, and this one, yeah, you. Yeah, the other thing is Daisy, we know that Dusty doesn't like, Max's, loudmouth. Well, Daisy's the same thing with him. I bring him over, and Daisy's asleep next to me, and she wakes up and she gives me this, she stares at him and gives me this look like, how dare you bring that over, disturbing my sleep. And then she gets off the couch and moves to the doggy bed under here, and for the rest of the evening. And so I refer to Kiwi to Daisy as Big Mouth. So I'm sure that's what she thinks of him. I did buy. Oh, I was gonna show you. So, when I bought food, I thought, well, he really doesn't play with anything. I haven't seen him play with anything. I don't know what kind of toy he likes. So I was like, well, I gotta find what he likes. So I ordered a toy, something to chew on. And then it said another $5 and something cents to free shipping. Well, okay. So I bought something else for RC, and I'll show you that too. So I bought this for KeeKee, and I gotta have it sit around and I'm look at it for a few days before I actually put it in his cage, so he doesn't like panic like most birds would. So there's this. It's just something to chew on. And then for RC, I got look at this. Look at this. And so these spin around, and then these pull up like this. If that's how, of course, that's how, if the birds choose to play it like that. The bells are a little smaller than I expected or would want them to be, but you know, so I'll have them stare at that for a few days before I put that up too. It will go on the outside, so RC and Neil can play with it. So I want to show that too. So that's all I really have to say. So see you around. See you Sunday. I have a pretty basic video for Sunday planned. RC he's looking too. Hi. So see you then. See you around. And you all have good rest of your day. Bye.